Cinematics are powerful. When you watch a compelling cinematic in a video game, you might remember it for days, months, or even years after the fact. It might become a part of you, a memory that never fades away. That much is true from my favorite childhood game, Neverwinter Nights 1. That game's opening cinematic is burned into my mind, and even over 15 years past my prime of playing it, I still remember it vividly. Blizzard in general, and Diablo 4 specifically, do not fail in this department. In fact, they aren't even mere members of the top 10% or 1%. They are the top of the class, without a doubt. When it comes to video game cinematics, they are the undisputed kings. This couldn't be more true in the ARPG genre. Blizzard's rivals in this space are Path of Exile 1 and 2, Last Epoch, Torchlight Infinite, Grim Dawn, Titan Quest II, arguably Lost Ark, and a few older other games. They smash every single entry on that list with their cinematics. Even their 24-year-old game, Diablo 2, outshines anything these other titles have even attempted in cinematic quality. Why is this? What is going on here? And will it ever change? Let's address each point individually. Blizzard is a titan in name recognition, in-game history, and in sheer capital to use. More and more, Blizzard has been moving toward utilizing the former two to bolster the growth of that third branch. Games of the past are looked upon fondly every passing day, while current content falls to the wayside. Still, all these wonderful games they made in the past greatly assist their present situation and future paths. In that distant and glorious past, Blizzard was still at the cutting edge of cinema and games. Their trailers and cinematics going way back, even in the first Diablo, were bangers. Diablo 2 stepped it up, and so did World of Warcraft. All these games, StarCraft, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch, they all funneled money Blizzard's way that allowed them to keep paying for these top-tier cinematics. The story in these didn't even have to be good. They were already so beautiful and well put together. They would enrapture players in these made-up stories, wow people who had never played games before, and make them say, I want to do that. I want that to be me. This, succinctly, is marketing done right in the biggest, best, and most expensive way possible. So what's going on with other game companies? Are they stupid? No. Path of Exile 1, the largest competitor to the Diablo series, has one cinematic and it uses the in-game engine. It's measly compared to anything in Diablo 2, 3, or 4. It's possible Path of Exile 2 will have cinematics, but nothing has been confirmed. Last Epoch, another potent Diablo competitor, does have cinematics, namely opening cinematics for characters and a cinematic for the game's momentous February 2024 launch. These cinematics are decent and sweet, but they pale in comparison to, again, anything in the Diablo series, and there aren't nearly as many in-game as the Diablo series either. Why? Well, the reality lies in the numbers, or the budgeting of the game. Let's analyze Path of Exile. What matters most to Grinding Gear Games, the company who develops Path of Exile? It's the money, just like Blizzard, but to maintain their loyal player base, they need to focus on ensuring the gameplay remains as interesting as possible. Every one of their update announcements is layered in expansion after expansion to the game itself. New leagues add crafting methods, a new story, new bosses, new items, new game systems, aspirational content, skill gems, and more. It's all centered around the game itself. You can even harken back to the original Path of Exile 2 announcement. GGG didn't push all their budget toward a jaw-dropping cinematic. They opened up with an in-engine rendered one and leapt right into gameplay. They even decided to play the game live on stage, showcasing they understand what's necessary to keep their consistent player base satisfied. It's all about the game, with grinding your games. Next, let's take a gander at 11th Hour Games, the developers behind Last Epoch. They obviously care very much about gameplay too. All their beta trailers suggest as much. However, as they prepared to release their game to the general public, they likely realized they had an opportunity here. Everyone pitches Last Epoch as a middle ground between the hyper-complex Path of Exile and the much simpler Diablo 4. To attempt an appeal to a wider audience, they decided to enlist the help of cinema and put together a hauntingly wonderful cinematic release trailer. As I said in the opening of this video, a well put together cinematic can floor a viewer. It can make someone who has zero interest in your game suddenly download it. It can hook a non-gamer and make them think they need to play your game. Fewer of these types of people play PoE. Many more play Diablo. Last Epoch sought to grab a sizable chunk of Diablo players with this move. It's quite intelligent, and I think it likely succeeded. Finally, let's return to Blizzard, the stewards of the Diablo franchise, and a sole moment in recent memory: the announcement of Diablo 4. The legendary "by 3 they come" cinematic beckoned Diablo 4's arrival. It was chilling, a climax of perfect story, music, and visuals. It scooped up millions of players, former Diablo 1s and not, and hyped them up for Diablo 4, perhaps even secured their purchase of the game too. With no gameplay, with this single cinematic, Blizzard likely marketed Diablo 4 to more people than have seen marketing materials for Last Epoch and Path of Exile combined. Blizzard have the capital to accomplish this. They know the audience this will appeal to, and they know they can continue to do this ad infinitum. Blizzard now focuses on the marketing of their games, placing it at the pinnacle of game checklists. It's above the architecture of the game. It's above the fun players have in-game. Truly, the only item that might match it is a game's monetization. Will this ever change? Will other companies, especially those in the ARPG genre, ever rival Blizzard in this regard? No. And that's a good thing. Even if games like Path of Exile and Last Epoch focus more on gameplay and fun in the game than marketing to new players and expanded audiences, they will still grow by one of the best marketing tools around: word of mouth. The grassroots Path of Exile marketing campaign has caused the game to grow in player numbers almost every year since its launch in 2013, including in Affliction League, which has the highest number of players active and retained a month after launch of a league ever. Blizzard titles like Diablo 4 will have the best marketing and continue to dwarf the player number peaks of their rivals, but I reckon they'll be long gone and dusted, like Diablo 3 now is, long after their rivals are still going strong. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with your totally sane friends. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and Tell 'em Moana, Exile.